An exponential function is a function where the exponent is a variable. This is a basic function, so you can see that the a is the base and the x is the variable. This is a basic exponential function. For basic exponential functions, the reference points will always be 0 and 1 and 1 and 2. And the domain will always be all real numbers, and the range in this one is 0 to infinity. This is our table of values from which we got this graph. So you can see here are the points, and that's the function.
What is Chernobyl? Chernobyl is a city located in Ukraine that is famous for the nuclear power plant accident that occurred in April 26, 1986. The power plant exploded and the radiation affected Europe and the USSR. Up to about a decade ago, the city was considered inhabitable. Currently, no one lives there yet because it is still very dangerous. Many species of plants and animals have adapted to the radiation, thus having specific characteristics. This nuclear power plant accident is considered as one of the worst ones in history.
In a culture, there are a lot of microorganisms. They will grow exponentially. It all starts when 1 breaks into 2, 2 is going to break into 4, then 4 is going to break into 8. And it's going to grow constant like that and flourish until the nutrients run out. Another good example for this is the world's population, which is increasing at an extraordinary rate, especially in regions like Africa, India, and China. As you see in the graph, it is growing exponentially, and that's another good example. Exponential growth is a growth that increases in a certain period of time. It includes 4 different variables, which are percent change, time, the amount at the beginning, and the amount at the end. It is represented by f of x equals a to the x power. An exponential decay is the same, but instead of going up, the graph goes down.
There are some serious implications regarding the risk of having an energy plant near you, such as the constant release of low-level radiation, the possibility of these plants overheating, the situation regarding the radioactive wastes that get out of these plants, and also their impact to the environment, as many other reasons why it is a risk to have them near. Nuclear power is considered to be a clean energy source because they don't release carbon dioxide. However, while constructing these plants, there is a massive release of carbon dioxide that is getting into the outside. There is a nuclear plant in Alto Lucero at the outskirts of Veracruz, Mexico, called the Laguna Verde Nuclear Plant. According to the World Association of Nuclear Operators and the studies they realized of this plant in 1999, there are still some safety issues involving the plant, and according to these studies, if an accident occurs, 80% of the Mexican population will be affected by this. So we think that having a nuclear plant that provides only 4% of the Mexican energy production is a great risk regarding that it isn't essential for the country, and there are many places in which renewable energy could be used instead and will benefit our country more, as well as the economy and our environment. We have reason to believe that the Chernobyl accident could have been prevented by using the system of automation that consists in using at least human intervention as possible, and instead use technological advances and machines to regulate the conditions in the workspace. The fact that the Chernobyl incident occurred 31 years ago is not an excuse of why they used so little technological intervention in the plant, since according to the West Winghouse Electric Company that specializes in nuclear safety, automation has been regularly used in plants since 50 years ago. After the explosion, the radiation spread was impossible to stop, since radiation travels in air, in products, in animals, in people, etc. Therefore, it was spread across the globe. The measurements the Soviet Union took to try and reduce the spread of these chemical substances were treating pasture, decontaminated the crowded places and workspaces, getting the food off the market that was proven to have high indexes of radiation, and trying to cleanse the farm animals by providing a new fodder that wasn't contaminated. These are some of the measurements the Soviet government took. We believe that the radiation emitted from the Chernobyl incident affected Mexico, since these situations tend to expand globally and affect other continents. Also, there is still controversy regarding a specific case in where there was 3 ships that arrived to Veracruz that were allegedly filled with radiation contaminated powder milk that was exported to Mexico. And after people protesting and demanding an official response, the government tried to stop the purchase of this product for being dangerous a few weeks after it was released to the market by the group Conasupo. So if it contained radiation, it did indeed affect the Mexican population. Some of the global consequences from the Chernobyl incident were that many precautions and protocols for plants working with radiation started to take place. There was an unstable weather with constant increase around the world, and specifically in Russia. There is a high risk for developing cancer to the ones that were near the plant and their offsprings, and there are many genetic alterations and deformities for the ones who were near the plant or were affected by its radiation.
There are different effects of nuclear disaster and nuclear weapons. The first one is the emancipation of more than 60 radioactive gases that will immediately devastate the nature. Another instant effect is that all human tissues will evaporize rapidly from the extreme increase of temperature. Another effect is that the building will fall and most of the people will die, and the ones who survive will be dead soon due to the radiation. The radiation is another long-term effect that will eventually bring mutations and diseases in living things, for example cancer, thyroid damage, skin contamination, and pregnancy issues. Also, the crop zones will be useful for many years. We feel that this situation is a little depressing, involving all of the consequences, because years later, people will have a very miserable and difficult life. The newborns probably will have a painful life full of diseases that are incurable. We feel bad because they will see other countries with better life conditions and facilitations. But there are different types of solutions. One solution for this is to support them with healthcare and food, but not only in that moment of tragedy, but always until they can get a fair living conditions. This also helps for people to raise awareness and release what they have. In this case of Chernobyl, there was lack of communication, so it would probably be needed to implement a new method to instruct and avoid these types of disaster. Also, it will be needed to add methods where people are qualified for these types of jobs because part of the explosion was created by an untrained person.
We feel like we formed a good team, mainly because we had good communication from the beginning. And establishing a good communication means that you can do the project. Everyone in the team played a good role in the making of the project. We believe that it was good experience for us, mainly because in the future we're gonna have to work with people that we don't know, and that's gonna be a hard thing if we don't know how to work with them. And the most important part of the project was that everyone did their part and everyone cooperated.